And we're back with a brand new episode of Bad Advice with Chris Cubis. This week I am joined by comedians Brett VerVoort and Sawyer Stull. It's a fun episode. We talk people that own pythons, adulterous elderly people, potluck wedding etiquette. Give it a listen. Lady does a lot when she starts with cancer so prevalent in today's society that it sounds like something that you talk about like people smoking weed or something that's like, you know what I mean, like something where there's a difference of opinion, you know what I mean. It's like that's something where like so prevalent in today's society. Sounds like that's something an old person would say about gay marriage, where it's like it's such a common thing now, but like they still don't have, there's not a consensus. I think with cancer, we could all agree, like nobody's like, well, we got to hear both sides when it comes to cancer.
Maybe the cancer has a right to be there.
Yeah.
Slaughter's right.
But she asked a question, when is it okay to talk about it? Sawyer, what do you think you bring up cancer? Is it a third date? Is it?
First date, if they've got a full head of hair, probably. I'm going to say it's pretty safe. But if you leave it like, oh, man. I think, that's not the thing we need to police, I would say, in terms of what's prevalent to talk about. I mean, if anything, she's out here raising awareness and helping. You know, that person may have never gotten it checked otherwise.
Brett, how about you? Do you think there is too much cancer talk? Do we have to?
If anything, there's not enough cancer talk. I mean, that's how I feel. But if you ever talk to an old person, half the time they're running you down their list of ailments. Mm-hmm. They're talking about not only what they have, but what everybody on the block has.
And who died recently.
Who died, who's getting surgery. And I'm here for it, you know? And so it's like.
I agree. And I do think that the question of how old is the person who wrote this letter is an important question, because outside of the fact that like we read this and at least I get old vibes, nothing in here strictly mentions age, or so this could just be a young weirdo. But like if it's old, I cut an old person more slack because everybody around them is dying, right? And they're catching diseases and their bodies are breaking down. So it's like more of a thing to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, if I was the friend who had the day of doctor's appointments, like the only reason she was getting upset is probably because that was a very real fear for her. Mm-hmm. So she's like, why are you like why are you
jinx it?
Yeah, you're candy manning this into existence by just saying it.
Yeah.
So I think they were probably both old, and this is like a real prevalent fear in their community, would be my guess.
Her question is, how can I become a more caring, supportive friend? Any ideas, Sawyer?
Maybe pay for that doctor's visit, at least one of them, and just, you know, that I would probably go to a doctor if someone offered to pay for it. The one thing keeping me out.
At the very least, pick up lunch. This feels like a conversation over lunch. At the very least, pick up the tab.
Absolutely. Or, you know, pay for their Uber to chemo or something. I don't know, whatever's going on. Help them out.
Wig shopping.
Like, well, if I put it out there, you know.
A lot of things you could do. Brett, any suggestions for how she can be a more caring friend?
I think definitely pay for lunch. Throwing a foot rub. No one's ever mad at it.
Here's the thing. No one's ever mad at a consensual foot rub. A surprise foot rub is going to anger a lot of people.
A day at the doctor's. They want a foot rub.
Valid point. Let's go ahead and jump into another letter here. This one I think is interesting. Dear Abby, my son and daughter-in-law are sweet, kind, and loving people. They are good parents to their son, an adorable toddler, and expect another child in 6 months. They live in an apartment and would like to rent a home to accommodate their growing family. The problem is that they have 6 cats and a python. Most rental houses don't allow pets, most certainly not this brood. They have made clear that they will not sacrifice their pets for a place to live. I am very concerned about that many cats and a python cohabitating with a toddler and soon an infant. Please help me reinforce that while it's okay to have a pet, they are not thinking or acting responsibly as parents. Signed, very concerned Granny. You guys ever known a snake person?
I had a python growing up.
You had a python growing up, Sawyer? That, I got to be honest with you, that does not entirely. I am surprised, not shocked, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess How big was your python?
I had him in. Yeah, this is first one, second one.
Well done.
No, so I think I had that python until I was about kindergarten. So I had it for like 3 years, and it was as big as me. Like it was a pretty big. One time it got out, and it wrapped itself around my bookshelf and took it down. So my mom goes to wake me up for like daycare or whatever, and she notices the mess that is my room, and she pulls the covers back, and the snake's just like curled up next to me. And I didn't realize that was a problem until they're like, well, if it was laid out long ways, it was going to see if it could fit you. I was like, yeah, we were friends. I knew he wasn't going to eat me. He stopped staying on that side of the house. But
what are the chances of your dad getting off of TikTok and just becoming a snake guy again? Just
snake person. Well, I would hope so. He lives in pretty much the middle of nowhere out in Driven Springs, and so he has a really small dog already, so I would probably get rid of that. Yeah. Can't have a big snake anymore.
Brett, do you have any? I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Brett, do you have any concerns? Anything weird you out about someone that owns a python? You're on Tinder, Brett. Let me put you in a situation. You look up Tinder. This guy's got you hit a dude. Picture looks pretty good. Clever shit in the fucking bio, whatever. It seems interesting. You flip to another picture, big ass snake. He's like got it wrapped around his shoulders and his arms. Maybe he's not wearing a shirt. Maybe he's not wearing a shirt, but he is wearing a vest. That gives me big snake vibes. What do we think about this python guy? That's how I picture him.
Yeah, this python, future cult leader of America. Yeah, he's got like a scrotal piercing.
Yeah,
and he's proud of it. My thing, if you have kids, because like with snakes and any kind of reptiles, like they carry different diseases than like, and you have to wash your hands all the time if you like handle snakes.
Right. So you say this to somebody that has maybe some experience. Were you also a reptile owner at some point?
Well, my stepdad had huge African tortoises, so we would go to these like reptile conventions, which were like, those have some characters where it's just like Dungeons and Dragons type girls who have like lizards on leashes and they're walking through. Yeah. And one time we went to a convention, and the reptile convention was right next to a gun expo, like in the same. Of
course, there's a lot. I bet you buy tickets to one, you get into the other.
I know. Certain. It was definitely like a KFC Taco Bell situation.
Man,
we love guns and snakes.
Question. Ballpark. How many black people did you see in all your time going to these conventions?
Like
less than 10?
Very little. I would say less than 10 overall.
That seems likely to me. I don't. Now that's not to say. No, but how many ponytails? Good question.
Oh, as far as the eye could see, you could bridle those ponies.
Balding ponytails, like the full horseshoe on top, ponytail in the back.
Yeah, these are, you're just telling my story, man. I've seen all these guys. I know these guys. These guys have jammed at the band.
Yeah. Oh, tell me they had a band at the reptile convention. Like, they have entertainment.
Slapping that bass. Full snake wraparound.
So is anybody else concerned? So it says they have 6 cats and a python. Is anybody else?
That's the real problem, right there.
That they started with more cats. I feel like they had more cats, and then the python came in to clean that shit out a little bit.
Well, maybe if they get the python, like, do you think the python would go for the cats first and then the children?
Get to the child
like, do you
eventually?
Have so many cats because they're all a buffer for your kids?
I think otherwise, and I know, speaking as someone who has no experience interacting with snakes, I would imagine a baby to be way more defenseless than a cat. Cats got claws and sharp teeth and shit. They're used to fighting predators. I feel like you go, I feel like you go against a baby. They're fattier. Those bones haven't hardened all the way, so you can get them down quick. Yeah. I think the snake's going for the baby first.
You know what you need is one of those. They have those like fainting goats. For you need a fainting cat. It's like clap. It goes down. You're like, okay, there.
The legs go stiff. I would also like to discuss this now. They have made it clear that they will not sacrifice their pets for a place to live. An admirable position, I think, in most things, right? Like if you take on the responsibility of having a dog or a cat or whatever, well, then you have to fit your living situation to that dog or cat. However, when you have a python, and this is me maybe not understanding python life, but it feels like less of a pet and more of an art display. You know what I mean? Like you're not cuddling. You're not like, oh, let's play fetch with the python or whatever. It just seems like something you have in your house because it looks cool. At which point you could just sort of move into a new place and not have that anymore.
Yeah, I know some people that treat their reptiles like real pets. It's a different breed.
I promise you I'm going to hear a bunch of shit about this from fucking snake people on Twitter or whatever. And I'll even go as far to say, like, lizards, I think more so than snakes. I think a lizard can, like, oh, you sit on your shoulder or whatever. But, like, that python just wants a rat and, like, a hot rock or whatever it is.
Yeah, but that's why they're trying to get into a bigger living space, though, which I think is what they should get after, because if they just put the baby into a smaller apartment, suddenly there's less room, and then that snake will find it much easier. So they shouldn't be concerned about getting rid of the pets. They should help these folks find a bigger space.
Yeah, that makes sense. You want to spread them out a little bit. Maybe the snake gets its own room. You ever been to a house where it's like, oh, don't open that up, that's the
snake room. Yeah. We don't have a cage. The door's just closed.
Yeah, we're more of a free range snake house here. I feel bad for this old lady because, like, and I'm assuming she's old. She may not be that old, but like, she did not like. I don't know that I get the vibe. I think the daughter-in-law brought the snake into this relationship because she doesn't seem like a snake person to me. And I think if her son was a snake person, she'd have already been snakeified. You know what I'm saying? But like,
yeah.
But so like the daughter-in-law, I think is so I think she's like doing her best to put up with her like her weird daughter-in-law and her snake problem or like snake obsession. And you had a python? Is it possible to go like, hey, maybe you get like a smaller snake? Is there something like you can just sort of lean off of it?
Maybe, and there's tons of folks that are willing to like come pick them up. It was not too hard to get rid of that snake when time came to be.
Oh yeah, people sell cocaine everywhere. It's going to be really easy to find somebody to come pick up that snake.
I'm telling you, I don't think the snake's the biggest issue here. 6 cats. These people are crazy.
6 cats is a lot of cats in an apartment.
2 cats. You got friends in an apartment. Yeah, 3 cats. They're going to start getting ideas. Those cats might take out one of those kids.
If there are more cats than people, you should be concerned.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even really think about that. I've been focused on the snake a lot. 6, the shit situation in that house. Did you ever have a friend? Like there was a kid, a family I knew I lived near growing up that was like had too many cats. And there was just like nowhere in the house to go away, like get away from a litter box. There was like a litter box in the kitchen. Like it was just like, come on, like so, like 6 cats in an apartment. The smell alone.
You need at least like 1 litter box per cat when you own a cat. So that's at least 6 litter boxes. Between that and changing diapers, I don't know if the toddler's potty trained. You're just cleaning ass all day.
You're just holding that cat, holding that baby over a litter box. Let's do its thing.
Yeah, the baby's gonna start to think it's a cat.
Yeah.
Cleaning itself.
That baby's gonna start thinking it's a snake. It's gonna unhinge its jaw. Gonna swallow the cats.
That's
eat
terrifying.
one of the cats.
So do you think what's the compromise here? Do you get rid of 3 cats and keep the snake?
Are they
find
committed to the baby?
Landlord that's really into Disturbed so you can keep your snake and not have a problem? Like
That's what I'm saying. How committed are they to the next baby? Because I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not too late, you know. I mean,
yeah. We don't know the trimester. That's sure. Maybe we get rid of the baby, not the cat. That makes perfect sense.
Exactly. And then you're not in that issue. You've been living with it for a while and it seems to be going all right. You don't need to get a bigger place anymore. Mm-hmm. At that point, 2 more cats. You have 2 more cats.
I mean, I don't have kids, but I mean, as far as I know, it's a lot about sacrifice. So something's got to give. You want more kids? The ponytail has to go. You want more kids? Something's got to give because you can't like have the same lifestyle you had before kids and then also put up with 2 kids.
Yeah, because let's be honest, the couple with 6 cats and a python is like already into some weird shit, and not necessarily like kinky weird, but just like off-brand role-playing games. You know what I mean? Like they're like Renaissance fair people. They have a lot of commitments in their life already that they don't need to bring another child into.
Yeah.
No, the toddler already has a septum piercing, probably.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go ahead and jump into our next question. Dear Abby, I have 3 children, ages 10, 8, and 5. I live about 45 minutes from my sisters and my parents, so we spend holidays and more together. My younger sister is pregnant and wants to name the baby Bradley because she and her husband can't agree on any other name. When she asked my opinion, I was taken aback because my 5-year-old's name is Bradford. At first, I thought it would be okay, but after a few days of thought, I asked her to please not use Bradley as his first name because my son and hers may want to use Brad in school or sports or some other point, and it would be confusing. This has caused a family rift, and everyone thinks I'm being unfair. At this point, it's not about the names. It's more about her deciding to ignore my wishes. Are there baby naming rules of etiquette to follow? I will, of course, love the child regardless, and I love my sister. We are close. However, I'm surprised they can't come up with any other name, knowing that it bothers me. Signed, Name Game in Illinois. Here's my question. What other issues are these people having? There is no... Do we think that this is a perfectly healthy relationship family, having fun, no beefs, and then this is just the rift, and this is just breaking up this family, this happy home?
Oh, I gotta say that mom does not have a lot of confidence in her Brad that she already has, and doesn't want there to be a better Brad later in the family.
You got a 5-year head start on Brad.
Exactly. They're never going to be they're class separated.
Yeah.
I think as soon as she gave him the name Bradford, she was like, he's going to drop the Ford, because I've never met someone who's like Bradford.
No, you have to have a dad that's like a congressman. You don't just get the name Bradford, for sure.
Yeah.
I think so. This is the type of... I also think that this family, beyond just the names, has comfortable money. Because if you have real problems, this shit doesn't matter. You've got 3 kids and you got 2 jobs. You're not even going to remember which Brad is yours. You know what I'm saying? I think these people are like semi-wealthy. And that is what surprises me, why they're writing into this column, because this is a place for people with nowhere else to go. Hire an arbiter or like go to family therapy or whatever and get this shit squared away.
I mean, there's so many names, and as a rich person, you can get away with such crazy names that the rest of us can't afford. Like, you're just scraping the bottom of the barrel going with Bradford and Bradley when you could be like naming it like Topanga, Genevieve, something.
Yeah. I also think there's a good chance that the other one's named Bradley because the younger sister's a big Sublime fan. Am I too old? Am I the only one old enough to get there?
Yeah, and I mean, like, the thing about baby names, I think, like, you can plan it up into the last minute, but then, like, sometimes it just, like, hits right at that last second. So you can be like, oh, sure, we could only agree on Bradley, but then, like, right when you're there, you're like, you know what, he's seeming much more like a Charles to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to play a baby name by ear.
That's why you get the middle name, too. So how bad is Bradford's middle name that he's not willing to go by that or, like, cut that one short?
I mean, 100%.
Bradford definitely has the not fun mom in the family too. If she's writing this in, it's a problem. And his name's Bradford. I feel so bad.
Yeah, she definitely seems like one of those people like, well, my son's not having juice, so nobody can have juice.
Yeah.
Bradford's mom is definitely a problem at like family functions. She's like the one on vacation where if you want to sleep in, but everybody, she's like, no, we have an itinerary. We are going to the cheese making museum, and then we're taking a trolley car ride. She's got everything planned out for sure.
The PTA talks so much shit about her.
Oh
No,
yeah, but
like,
she's in charge of the PTA. They just all
yeah,
hate
yeah,
her
she's
out on the
president.
outside.
Oh.
Yeah, she's like not on the homeowners association, but she supports it. Like she's that much worse. She's like
She's
really...
always on the like Nextdoor app.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
big on the Nextdoor app for sure. Absolutely, she's always wondering what that. Oh, who's playing music, or why is there a brown person walking down my street? For sure.
My son Bradford can hardly go to sleep with all this noise.
Rock and roll.
He's got to be up early for fencing lessons or whatever Bradford does. Also, this bit about like they at some point, be it school or sports, they're going to confuse these two people. They're 5 years apart. Like,
exactly.
It's going to be fine. They're not going to be in the same... They'll be like overlapped in elementary school for like a year, and then they won't see each other again.
Yeah, this definitely seems like a rich person problem because I have like 9 cousins all named John, and it'll be like John the first, John the second, like, and
little tall John. Like if you
little
go to an
John,
Italian
no one's
family
confused.
or something, everybody is this. There at 19 Michaels, and you just nickname them and you keep it moving for sure.
Tony, Nick, Brad. Like,
yeah.
Move
Not
on.
That hard.
You'd be surprised how many Sawyers are in my family. They just keep the name rolling.
I'm going to be honest with you. That is a little surprising. I have you are the first Sawyer I have met, and I'm a little surprised that your family has a bunch of them.
And they...
No, go ahead.
And they kept it boring with the middle name. Just gave me Adam. I was just like, y'all created for a hot second. Just mailed it in.
I think if we're going to help this lady, we tell her, you let them name the kid Bradley, but pick a really embarrassing nickname early so it sticks. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Kid's name is Bradley, but you call him Poopy Draws from like he shits his pants once when he's a baby, and now everybody's calling the kid Poopy Draws till he's 19 years old. You never have to worry about it again.
I say you act like really magnanimous about it and be like, I'll let you have Bradley, but at an undisclosed time, I will ask for a favor. No questions.
Godfather.
Godfather. Sure. And that way you can have that pettiness come back to you.
I love it.
On your timetable.
She could try to rebrand Bradford, kind of like re-brad him or something like that. Find a new alley for him and be like,
what if we just went by Ford?
I'm going to say, I was about to say Ford is such a cooler name.
It's
than
strong.
Brad. Yeah.
His nickname be Mustang.
Mustang.
The kid, you name him Ford, but they got money. You buy him a Chevy. It's a conversation starter. You know what I'm saying? Perfect. I love it. Let's go ahead and jump into another question here. I've got a few more. Let's go with Dear Abby. My husband of 49 years had an affair 2 years ago with a woman younger than our daughter. The affair is over now, but I no longer trust him. The other woman, in quotation marks, is a musician who performs with an adult ensemble that he conducts. He refuses to talk to her about discontinuing her involvement in the group and is, in fact, including her in a tour in which many of our friends and I are involved. I find this demeaning and disrespectful, but he doesn't think there's a problem. I am dismayed, but I haven't spoken to friends or family about the affair because I don't want my children or grandchildren to be hurt. What should I do? Signed, Out of Tune in the South. There is a lot going on here.
This is a Tyler Perry movie.
Oh boy. So I would like to start with, they're married for 50 years, right? So they are, let's say, 70.
Married.
Oh, they're married for sure. There's no divorce app. Nobody's getting divorced after 50 years. You're just going to hate each other and just be in the same house. Absolutely. Let's say they're 70 years old. If they've been married for 49 years, say they got married at 20, they're 70 years old, right? He, at 70, is cheating on his wife with a 40-year-old?
Yeah, that's what's so great. Is this one's probably 40.
Right? You know what I'm saying? He says younger than their daughter, but how young's the daughter? The daughter's not, the daughter's not 19 or some shit. So, like, there are a lot of elements to go into. I would like to question, what is an adult ensemble as far as music is concerned? Is it
I'm assuming it's like a jazz thing, maybe.
Jazz?
Like a jazz ensemble?
Ensemble? Sure.
Yeah,
But
like
adult?
almost big band.
Adult
They're,
makes,
they're
gives me
not
like
any
adult
good.
contemporary. Like, oh no,
Maybe
it's
she
bad.
was
It's
just
terrible
like
music.
saying like my husband didn't have an affair with a child. I just
Yeah.
want to make it sure that all of these people playing music are grown-ups.
Yeah, nobody's playing the recorder in this.
She was the
band.
best singer in her senior class.
Yeah. She did a presentation where she was the Onion and everybody laughed.
Yeah. Now, the balls of this man
Oof.
to then continue. So hold on. He conducts this adult ensemble. So whatever this band is has a conductor. So maybe it's a choir or it's I'm getting church choir vibes from this. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Breaking commandments.
Yeah. You gotta kick her out of the band, right? If you're gonna stay with the wife, she can't go on tour.
No, yeah, he probably hasn't even quit cheating on her. You know, like
let's be real there. I'm 100% with you on that. He is still sleeping with this 45-year-old woman for sure.
Yeah, no. If they're like getting hotel rooms and they're traveling and they're spending time together and they're like just really connecting on music, no.
But here's what's wild. The wife is also on tour, if I'm reading this correctly, is including her in a tour, which many of her friends and I are involved. So she's also in this band. This dude is really fucking a real scumbag. I don't cheat on your wife, but then like once you got caught, you got to make a decision. You're either out of the marriage or she's gone. I got to get her out of my life. I quit the band. Whatever the fuck it is, you got to make a call that's like one side or the other. And he's like really trapped in the closet.
Here's the thing. I totally get where she's coming from. Like she doesn't want to make a scene with her family. And I get that, respect that. But by not making a scene, then she can't get people on her side.
Absolutely.
And so he's kind of like in this place where there's no repercussions for him. So if she blows up at him, no one's going to have that context. And they're going to be like, wow, why is she going crazy and being weird on this trip?
Yeah.
So
why is she so uncomfortable? Yeah. Oh,
he's probably a hell of a musician, though. I mean, if that's the case.
Yeah, there's no other sousaphone players that they can get. They just got to keep her in the band for sure. Man, and also like you've been married 49 years, you're 70 years old, and you're still out there trying to get some strange, like, stop, man, just fucking settle in, play your little fucking tambourine or whatever that instrument is, and fucking give up. It's just wild to me.
Yeah, there's pills for that, dude. There's pills to slow you down.
Just wait till he's a part of the house band at the old folks' home. He's just swatting her way strange every night.
Those old folks' homes are no joke. There is a lot of.
I watched a documentary about a place in Florida that's I can't remember the name of it, but it's like the biggest retirement community in the world. It's like its own city. It's just, but you have to be over a certain age to live there. It's like whatever. And those people are wild. There was a guy who just like drove his van down there and slept in his van because he knew he could just like find a lady, and he was like 80, but he could still like
he could pull
take his shirt off and
I live off
campus,
campus,
desirable. Yeah, he was sleeping in his van by a fucking storage unit until he could find another lady to let him sleep on the couch and buy him bologna sandwiches. It was wild.
I live across the street from a giant retirement facility here, and I see old ladies holding hands with different old men all the time. Like, I gotta imagine, like, you don't even have to break up with someone, you just wait till they die.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah. Never have to have an awkward conversation again.
Yeah, you just start pinching that oxygen tube up there a little.
Oh shit. I think you gotta. My advice for this lady is leave that man or that band. You got to do one of the two for your own mental health. You either have to get out of that relationship, at which point stick around in the band, make shit weird for him. That's hilarious. Or if you're gonna stick around, you got to leave the band because like he's clearly picking her. So you know what I mean?
I say if there's anything he's allergic to, you start rubbing it on the inside of his pant trousers. All right, you give him an embarrassing rash, so he's just so ashamed he couldn't take his dick out if he wanted to.
There it is.
I definitely think she should leave him and the band. My parents are splitting up right now. My dad's 70. You know, I'm sure they would get along famously. He loves musicians. Like he's another mom.
You gotta love waiting in the wings, you know. Just slip your dad's number to her.
Yeah, hey, band lady, do you like TikToks and snakes? I've got a guy for you.
Yeah, I know, man.
All right, I think we've got maybe one or two more letters, and we're gonna wrap this up. Let's try. Nope, we did that one. Dear Abby, I was recently invited to a potluck baby shower. I have also been invited to potluck weddings. I always thought the point of a shower wedding was providing for your guests while they provide gifts. Food is not expensive, and if money is an issue, one should schedule a shower outside of mealtimes or simple tea and cookies. I'd appreciate your thoughts on this. Signed, Potluck Baby Shower. What? How? Okay.
You cheap.
What piece of shit? No, here's my problem with this dude. How transactional are all of your relationships? He thinks that a wedding is that. Look, here's how weddings work. I give you a tea set, and you give me chicken piccata and a piece of cake. He just thinks it's like an exchange of goods and services. That's a wild take to me.
Yeah, especially like it's a pot. You don't even have to make anything that fancy. You go pick up like a box of cookies or something. Like you don't have to put effort into this at all. I guarantee you they're not happy about these people having kids in the first place too.
Well, I mean, it's a potluck. So with a potluck, you bring like one thing, maybe two, but then everybody brings literally everything else. And if food isn't expensive, as he mentioned, then why are you bugging?
What's your fucking problem, my guy? Just also be the guy that brings sodas. You can do that. It's not the coolest move, but people do need a beverage. Bring like 3 or 4 2 liters. Bring ice, whatever. And then you get to have green bean casserole and whatever the fuck else anyone makes. And like this dude gives the vibe that he's like above a potluck, like food's not expensive, but I promise you he's trash. This is not a man with money. He's not offended by the potluck in that it's like, oh, beneath him. He is like legitimately trying to figure out how to make being too broke to buy 3 boxes of stovetop a personality.
I think he should flip it and go really, really into the potluck aspect and get something incredibly fancy, spend all the baby shower money on that, and then only come with like a diaper. I'm sorry, I brought this entire roasted pig. I wasn't sure what to bring. I've never been to a potluck.
I brought 3 trays of lobster tails, so dollar store rattle and keep it moving. Have you guys ever been to here's where I don't side with him, but it's where my thing shows up. If I come to your wedding and it's a full cash bar, you don't have like an open bar for like an hour, and it doesn't have to be open bar, beer and wine, perfectly reasonable. But if you make me come to your wedding and I have to give you a present and I have to put on a suit and it has to be like a whole night and I have to buy every drink, you're asking too much. That's not.
Yeah, I say that's the number one sign you shouldn't get married is if you can't afford that open bar. You are clearly not
ready financially.
That divorce is going to cost more than that open bar. So let's think about it.
I mean, yeah, there's just like a lot of people that are doing like DIY sort of weddings too, or trying to do weddings on the cheap because it is a racket. Like,
absolutely. So hear me out. Open your fucking backyard.
Yeah.
Don't tell everyone to bring a camp chair. Buy a keg and a bunch of boxes of Franzia. I'm not asking for anything fancy, but if I'm going to spend 6 hours in your fucking event or whatever it is, I'm not also buying. I'll tip the bar. I'll drop 50 on the bartender. I'm putting money in his pocket. I'm not buying those drinks. I'm just not doing it.
No, make it BYOB at least. Come on now.
Yeah. Let me feel okay about sneaking in with a flask for sure.
I feel like if you're already at a potluck wedding, there's definitely BYOB because you're bringing everything else. Yeah.
That's true. Hey, hear me out. I might have come around on the potluck wedding. That might be the thing. Because the potluck wedding also involves trips to the car where like your one drunk uncle's like, take a walk with me real quick. He's got like the cooler in the trunk. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm with it.
I think the big issue with this potluck baby shower is that they need a sign up of sorts, because all of a sudden everybody's just going to be showing up with like just can't like cases of Coke, and then like a pack of Oreos, and then be no actual sustenance there. That's the only drawback of a potluck.
You need somebody like who's bringing
dessert.
hot dogs.
Yeah,
Also,
you
I've
need
never been to
a potluck registry.
I've never been to a baby shower, so I don't know. I'm more about the wedding side of this thing. Do people drink at baby showers?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, there's always like some sort of like baby themed cocktail. It'll be like a champagne thing, and it'll have like some stupid like silly pun name about giving birth. Like this is an ovum organza. Blah, blah, blah. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's that lady's last opportunity to drink. After that, it's like, definitely don't do this anymore.
Really cut it close.
We gotta get this baby shower in quick.
Yeah,
before it's gonna start making the eyes spread on this baby for sure. I think I got room for one more letter here, and then we can wrap this up.
Okay.
Dear Abby, in the last few years, a good friend has grown increasingly radical in his political views, which has caused a severe rupture in our friendship. I am still hurt by what transpired because it turned personal at one point. My friend has now written an apology for his extremism and asked for my forgiveness. I can't help but wonder whether, if the political climate hadn't changed, he would be apologizing. How do I forgive my friend and perhaps open a path to a renewed friendship while I still feel this way? Side nervous about this in New York. Do we think... This is a letter about a friend who had a Trump friend trying to get back in their life, right?
Yeah, like a Proud Boy kind of thing.
They're like, even just a hard MAGA QAnon somebody. Yeah. Right? Does that make sense? I'm not getting that this is a right-wing person with a leftist friend. That doesn't give me, you know what I'm saying?
They seem to be the less forgiving type, though.
There is that, but also, I don't. I'm going to jump to the give advice part. Don't forgive this person. Your racist friend just showed his true racist heart. You don't have to let them back into your life where they can pretend to not be racist anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if you did all right without him for 4 years, I think you're kind of well on your way to working someone out of your life at that point.
I would also say that the person who is considering the forgiveness is a fake liberal, leftist, woke, whatever word you want to use, because like they don't seem to give that much of a shit about the politics. They seem more upset about the part that it turned personal at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's just like a hard part, especially these days, to like separate the politics from personal, because like a lot of like the political beliefs of the right are like infringing on your personhood.
Yeah,
or on people's like
no, absolutely. It's not. This person isn't
so it's like,
mad.
It's hard for it not to be personal. I don't know if you could ever separate it.
This person didn't like whoever the extremist is. Didn't suddenly become like a hardcore anti-taxation person. You know what I mean? That's not what drives a wedge in a friendship. It's because you suddenly like started yelling about fucking eugenics. That's what did this. 100%. Also, I picked this letter when I had two white people on so that I could just make them uncomfortable while I
yell. Don't get me started. I'll dig in.
Do you think it is possible for MAGA people to come around? Is there room for them to come back into the fold?
I mean, I feel like some of them are coming around on the vaccine stuff because a lot of them with the Delta variant that's out, like there's people who are back in the hospital again, even after they missed the first round of vaccines. And they're like, I wish I got a vaccine.
Right.
But it's like one of those things, like it's sad, but I feel like they're not going to turn around until something bad happens to them that personally affects them. So as long as it's other people, they can pretend they don't care. But as soon as it's in their backyard, they're going to be like, oh, this is actually a problem.
Yeah, I've looked back on some of the things I've supported in my life, like bands wise and pop culture. And I can forgive myself for making those choices back then. So, I mean, in due time, time heals all wounds, allegedly. So, I mean, maybe they said some real hurt. If they said some real hurtful stuff that was outside of the context of that, then I mean, no, move on from that person. But maybe in time you find something else y'all can both take together.
Yeah, I do think there's like a slight difference between like you like being super into Kid Rock for a minute and then like being into Kid Rock's politics for a minute. Like, you know, like there's a difference between
levels of fandom.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't listen to the Insane Clown Posse for a summer. It was fine, but like that also doesn't mean that I was, you know,
that's not who you are now.
I wasn't a transphobe. Like there's just different levels of what we're doing. I am of the mindset that if you like I don't have to forgive. How do I say this? You have to earn forgiveness. I don't have to give it. So like you have to prove that you are worthy, like that you are truly like different. You know what I mean? You can't just go like, oh yeah, man, I went crazy there for a minute, but let's talk about the new Marvel movie. You got to fucking show me the work.
The good old actions.
And it's a pendulum, right? It's about how far you went to one degree to the other. So like, if you were like mildly shitty, then you only have to do a little bit of work to come back. But if you were, you know,
I say take that person to a drag brunch and then just watch their face the whole show.
You'll get the vibe. You'll get
the vibe, and then you'll be like, you know what? I'm in this mimosa. I don't care about you.
Yeah. You'll know. You'll understand for sure.
You'll know.
And also, you probably don't. Here's the thing: were they that cool to begin with? If they were that easily susceptible to becoming a fucking fascist, were they like cool? Like, were they actually a good friend to begin with? I feel like if you were that easily duped into becoming a QAnon person, then I probably didn't like hanging. You were probably just like a periphery friend that I knew anyway.
Oh yeah. Someone that's that easily duped has definitely tried to sell you on like a multi-level marketing pyramid scheme at one point, and that was the first strike. I think this is the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, just tell them to go. Like, I say, here's the thing. The problem is that if we don't let them back into the fold, they'll just go deeper into the right. But like, eventually, like that's just gonna. I feel like that's gonna happen to that person anyway, right? That person isn't gonna come back and suddenly be like a cab all day. Like they're not gonna get that far enough into the left to be good. They're just gonna get close enough that you ignore their shitty tendencies.
Yeah, tolerate them.
I mean, I feel like it's like, don't put yourself under the emotional labor of having to like make everybody around you what you perceive to be a better person.
Right.
Like you don't have to lift everybody up just because you're like, does that make me a bad person? Because I won't.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to.
No, that's not your job. Fuck that. Yeah, no, talk to people out of your life and just, you know, get a snake, get 6 cats and fucking live your life.
It sounds like they already have a snake in their life.
Yeah. All right, guys. Brett, where could people find you on the internet? You got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, you can follow me at Grandma's Lil Shit on Instagram. And I have a show, Drunk Spelling Bee, once a month at the Velveeta Room. Come down. It's a really good time.
That's super fun. Check that out. Sawyer, what's going on with you?
You can just find me at my name, Drunk Grandma's Big Shit. It's Sawyer Stull, and I got a show at the Velve too, August 13th, Face Off, after I believe Matt, or who is that? Matt Blake, I think is going up.
Matt Blake.
No, Zod. Yeah, or someone from Houston's in town. But yeah, Velveeta Room, August 13th.
Do that for sure. I am at Chris Cubis on all social media. If you like the show, throw us a little 5-star review. Tell your friends, share it around the socials. That helps us out. And we'll be back next week with more bad advice.